And we are live. Can you hear me good?
I can.
Perfect, perfect. We'll hit the intro and we'll get right to it, man.
All right.
What's up, guys? Wes the People's Pitmaster back again with another episode of the Smoke Ring Syndicate. It's my weekly barbecue podcast that drops every Wednesday at 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Last week, we took a trip around the world out to Texas and chatted with Bill DeMoss. This week, we're headed up to see Ashley Henson. Ashley, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Ashley Henson of the old school of with Mark and Ashley. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the folks that don't know you if they have not run across you on the Facebook or the YouTube streaming show you guys do.
Yep. My name's Ashley Henson. I live here in Olive Branch, Mississippi. I am half of the show of Old School with Mark and Ashley. The Mark side of that is none other than Mark Lambert, 7-time world barbecue champion. And I'm just the nobody that brings the laughs and the whatever. So we have a good time with it. It started out that we needed to hear something from Mark Lambert in this world of YouTube and video and podcast, and him being the food guy he is, and he's just a better human being than he is a cook. So we just needed something from him, and I was like, hey man, let's do this. And so that kind of started it all.
Okay. So we'll walk back just a little bit, and then we'll come back up into the current life of Ashley Henson. Tell me what started you into barbecue and what led you into the world of live fire cooking barbecue.
Well, I'll tell you what, it started back in the early 2000s when I moved back to Mississippi. I lived in St. Louis for a while. I had some fraternity brothers that had a barbecue team that mainly competed around in the Memphis area, Memphis in May, and it was a team called South Pork. I learned a lot through there, and we cooked for a long time. And to be honest, I got right with the Lord and quit drinking, and I tied those two things together. So I stepped away from barbecue for a while, and and so I stopped competing, and but I loved it. I loved competing. I loved barbecue, but I just had to be away from it for a while, and I stepped back, and that got me introduced to the SCA. I still like to compete, and I still wanted to compete, but I just didn't know that I could be. I needed to separate myself from that and see if I could do it on my own.
Yeah.
And so I got introduced to the SCA, and man, I went and bought a PK grill from this guy named Mark Lambert. And that was really the first time I had met Mark. I mean, I knew of Mark Lambert, but that was really the first time I'd met him. And me and him hit it off like we had known each other for years. And we've just been friends ever since. And I tell people that, and that was 2019 or 2019, 2018, somewhere at the end of there. And everybody thinks we've been friends for 20 years, but we really hadn't. And SCA's been good to me. It gave me an opportunity, and we'll talk more about that. But it gave me an opportunity to share my faith and be open and be able to tell people. And I didn't feel pressured into drinking and stuff like that. And still, I don't. And I've been sober for almost 8 years now, and just the Lord has blessed me in that way and kind of put people in my life that I needed. And I think Mr. Lambert's one of those people, and he'd probably tell you the same thing about me. And then I've helped him cook a little bit, been on his team, just have learned so much from him. He's just a vast of knowledge of competitive cooking and a been blessed to be around the people I'm around, and we started our own ministry,
Yeah.
Faith and Fires Ministry, that is really doing Cook's Church and Steak Church in the SEA, but Cook's Church in the barbecue world, and we would love to see that at every competition in the major competition in the world.
Yeah.
On every.
Well, and it's interesting to hear that. For me, like I've competed in the GVA and MBN. It's my two worlds of barbecue that I've been around, and I kind of feel like that's every single time that I go to an event, they're doing a little mini church service. So I didn't think anything other than everybody must do this.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen everywhere. We would love to see it happen everywhere. So many times, just like people travel and don't go to church on a regular basis, and we all should live like that. That might be the person you're interacting with. That might be the only Jesus they get to see, or the only church they get to go to.
Yeah.
About if we carry ourselves as Christians, and that should be how we act. That
Yeah.
might be the only reflection of Christ that they see. So
Yeah. It's an interesting thing to think about. Um, like bringing, I wouldn't say an opposite thing with your faith and all to a barbecue competition by any stretch. But a barbecue competition is, there's a fair amount of imbibing, if you will.
yeah,
Um,
and I'm not.
you know,
Yeah, and
but
I'm not.
it's just
I'm
interesting
not
to me.
opposite of that or opposed to that. What I'm saying is it wasn't for me anymore. Um,
Hmm.
I know that happens.
Yeah.
I know that happens in the world. But I love them. I love people anyway. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. God loves you no matter what. He doesn't like the sin too much, but he loves you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but there's so many people that travel and don't
Hmm.
get to be. And you never know what people need, and you
Yeah.
never know what people need to be said. But everybody needs to be loved, and they need to be shown love. And
Yeah.
so that's what we try to do. Just
Well,
encourage other people to stand up to their faith.
yeah. Well, and and I don't know necessarily want to make this podcast all about
No.
that by any stretch, but um, it's with religion, just in general, um, there's folks that are on the far extreme, and then there's the far that are on the super edge of the fringe.
Yeah.
Um, I'm and what I'm talking about the fringe of is like I just saw a clip on TikTok not too awful long ago. Jelly Roll, the country slash rock I don't know what genre he is,
Yeah. I'm not as
um,
familiar with him. Yeah.
but he was having a concert, and a fight broke out, and he stopped the show, and he was like, look, he said, this may be as close to what church for somebody a sinner like me could be, so don't ruin this for them.
That's
And
right.
I'm cleaning it up a little
Oh,
bit,
yeah.
but um, it's interesting to me that there's levels of that everywhere. I mean, same as in everything. There's amateurs, there's professionals. I mean, you want to call an amateur a professional in a faith standpoint, but just different things to me. It's just interesting.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
we got the faith and fire. Um, so you guys are doing traveling with that, and is that just you thing, or
No,
are
like,
you competing under that name?
well, Mark and I, we started our 501c3. We do have a board
Okay.
of directors. It is a nonprofit. You can go to our website and donate. What that goes to is we got hooked up with the National High School Barbecue Association. We
Hmm.
went out and talked to 300 high school kids in Round Rock, Texas at their national championship. And that was such a blessing to be able to talk to them. And then also, when you see somebody, and that wasn't in the capacity he was there for, but when you see a guy like Mark Lambert, who is well known in the barbecue world, and he's not afraid to stand up and talk about his faith, that kind of changes the game. That you can have the best of both worlds, and here this guy could talk about himself. He could talk about his barbecue prowess, and he doesn't. You know, he's the most humble guy you ever want to talk to. I'm going to promote him more than he's ever going to promote himself. So, but we have a good time, and we've gotten hooked up with the National High School Barbecue Association with Mike Erickson out in Texas. They do a great job with that, and they're building that program, and it's really doing good for young people. I mean, we were in Round Rock, Texas in June, and it was hot, and these kids were out there all day long and turning in some pretty impressive food. And we're going back in June again to Branson, Missouri, is the home of the 24 national championship for that organization.
Yeah. I'm a little bit upset with my high school because we didn't have a high school barbecue team.
I know, me neither. I was like, man, if I would have got started with this at 17, 18 years old, I mean, there's people out there like Riley Wright and Caden Blake, and those people that are starting out this thing at a young age. Riley's got her own seasoning line. I mean, I just see that she's a future world champion. Anywhere around it, Riley Wright, the state princess, is going to be a future world champion. You know, and
there's a couple. I mean, there's a couple of like the young up and comers, I guess, if you will, like Joey Machado's. Has Ty, I think is his name. I think he was a part of the development of some of the seasonings back when Joey worked for a charcoal company before he was doing his own thing. So it's interesting to see the incoming world of barbecue, the incoming future champions, if you will.
And we have to keep pouring into our young people. If we don't show them and mentor them, and then it's going to be lost. It's going to be a lost age, old school ways of doing things, and barbecue and that kind of thing is going to be a lost art. If we don't keep pouring into our young people.
Yeah, absolutely. And that'll kind of we'll try to transition with the old school way of doing things. We'll kind of get into the old school with Mark and Ashley, or Ashley and Mark, every which way you want to go with it.
I put Mark first. I mean, he has more world championships than I do, so I put Mark Lambert first.
Hey, I think your beard game's stronger, though.
I appreciate that, brother. Yeah, I appreciate that. The old school with Mark and Ashley, as we were talking about off the air, we're sitting at the warehouse at Sweet Swine of Mine warehouse, as we always do. And we're usually cooking something or hanging out in the test kitchen. And I just asked him one night, I said, hey, man, have you ever thought about a podcast or doing something? He had a YouTube channel. He did some YouTube videos every once in a while. I said, let's do something live. Let's do something different from everybody. Let's cook on a podcast, and let's see how fun this can be. And so we just turned on the cameras and hung out, and it's been going probably almost 3 years now, and just loving it.
I think you guys are close to 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a by happenstance that you guys ended up doing the show that you're doing. And I mean, I guess you guys don't consider it a podcast per se, but it's more like a video cast or blog.
Yeah. It's kind of like a video blog. I guess I use the word video podcast, because I just don't know any other terminology for it.
I have no clue either. That's what
we do broadcast live on Facebook and YouTube. I use Streamlabs, and we go to 3 different Facebook pages and 2
Mm-hmm.
different YouTube channels.
Okay.
And so you can find us at Old School with Mark and Ashley or Sweet Swine of Mine Distributing on Facebook and YouTube. So you can find us live every Thursday night. We try to do it every Thursday night. Mark's out of town a good bit during this time of year. But hey, I usually have Eric Hodson from Boar's Night Out, White Lightning fill in, or Dusty Wiley from 2-time world champion Hometown Barbecue, right there close to me, or one of our many other friends that can fill in, Jeff Maynard. All these guys know how to cook, bring a lot to the table. And just it's not bad when you surround yourself with world champions and just gain all that knowledge. Eric Hodson is probably one of the smartest people in barbecue out there. And he was just kind of featured on the last episode of Barbecue USA with Michael Simon. And so if you listen to Eric Hodson talk and present a hog, that's probably one of the best things you'll ever see is Eric Hodson present a hog for Boar's Night Out. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So we've got the podcast that you guys have been doing or I'm going to call it a podcast, I guess. You got the show that you guys have been doing for several years now, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're not a full-time barbecue guy per se.
No, I'm not a full-time barbecue guy. I'm a general manager for an outdoor equipment store. I'm an easy-go golf cart dealer. I sell lawnmowers and side-by-sides and stuff like that. A business right here in Olive Branch called Big Muddy Outdoors. So that's what my day job is. And then, I cook SCA a good bit as much as I can. And then,
I think you just come off a pretty good steak a couple of days ago, if I remember correctly.
Yesterday, as a matter of fact, we cooked in Ashland, Mississippi. I got a 9th place walk yesterday. I don't get to cook as regular. There's some people that can do it every weekend. I just don't. Yeah. I can't. This is about my 12th steak to cook this year. I haven't gotten my golden ticket yet. The last 2 years, I've gotten it earlier in the year. And so I'm kind of chasing it a little bit. If I want to go to Fort Worth next year, I've been been blessed to go the last 2 years, and I'm going to have to chase it a little bit if I want to. Yeah. I only got a few more weekends left in my schedule, not the SCA schedule, but in my schedule, I got a few weekends left that I can cook.
So you've got the full-time gig. You got a little side project that keeps you interested in the barbecue and keep you moving in barbecue. You've got the steak SCA cook-offs that keeps you in the competition world. Do you see a future where Ashley is just a full-time barbecue entrepreneur of some sort?
I think the good Lord is going to, if anything, a future in barbecue is going to be with Faith and Fires with me. I'd love to see that. Every day we try to figure out, are we doing the right things, or has God put us where we need to be? And I believe so much is happening with this Faith and Fires that has been got established this year, and just Lord has blessed us with many opportunities. If there's any future for me full time in barbecue or in the competition world, I think it's going to be through Faith and Fires. I truly believe that. So
Now, can you? I mean, and feel free to tell me to kick rocks, but can you elaborate on what you envision that being?
Well, just kind of spreading the word and kind of building relationships and getting bigger into that of being established by KCBS and NBN and being on the actual timeline of those contests and being on their websites and that kind of thing, kind of spreading the message like that. We're just getting started. So I'm hoping like our goals is to have that Faith and Fires at every contest in the world. And so I won't always be able to travel there, or Mark and I won't always be able to travel there. But there's going to be people out that are on the same page, you know, what we want to do and what God leads us to do. We're raising money right now, and we'll be able to tell you exactly what that, but to help with travel, of course. And then we want to give Bibles to all of the high school kids. So at the National High School Barbecue Association. And so we're really pleased about that and where that's taking us. And so that's our goals. And, you know, if it's God's will, then it'll come about.
Okay. That's fantastic. So I gotta know, you had mentioned you guys typically are shooting the old school show at the test kitchen, Mark Lambert's test kitchen, and he's got his line of seasoning. Are you his secret weapon and his secret taste tester that just nobody knows?
I get to now. This guy knows more than just barbecue. Y'all know that. He does some videos, but we're really big into this Cajun cooking, and we started, you know, doing a lot of black pot cooking and stuff like that. So I really can't wait till a little cooler temperatures where we get into the gumbos and the etouffees and the jambalas and stuff like that. This past year we had a Cajun class, and we had about 40 people there, and we brought up people from Louisiana and some world champion jambalaya cooks and all that kind of stuff. Had a good time. Yeah. And we had a great time. And
I'm from Louisiana myself.
Yeah. And so you'll have to come next time. And we cooked etouffees and gumbos and jambalaya and had Damon Blue and Todd Bro and all those people from up in Louisiana, from the Baton Rouge area, Gonzales area. And we're planning to do that again. If somebody was to ask us, Mark and I both, what's our favorite things to cook, it'd probably be Cajun nowadays.
Yeah.
And just a good, and what we've learned about this black pot cooking is people stand around and fellowship around this black pot and stir that gumbo and all that kind of good stuff. And it's just fun. We just really like that. And he does let me taste some things, and we bounce ideas off each other. And the other day he made some killer meatballs with some chicken and duck and bacon. And he had that mixed up in some brown mushroom gravy and an old, Cajun pot, man. I was like, where's the rice at? Let's go, man. Let's do it. So, and he brought me a container after work. He brought me a container and said, hey, I got a container of this with your name on it. And I said, I'm fixing to cook me some rice and have a good night.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you'd mentioned you guys did the Cajun classes. Is that something that you were doing before, Mark, or is that a new addition?
That is a new adventure, and we're gonna do some more classes like that. But I like to learn new things of cooking, and that it's not just barbecue. And and he's taught me so much and to broaden my horizons. But man, before this, I only knew one way to cook a pulled pork. I mean, to cook a Boston butt, I knew one way to cook ribs, and I never jumped out of the box as much. And this guy, he cooks ribs and he bastes them with a brown country gravy, and just to give a whole nother flavor. And he's got a YouTube video on that on his YouTube channel, or just to cook a Boston butt Texas style, salt, pepper, and garlic, and put vinegar sauce on it. I mean, after the fact. So it's just, because if you ask Mark Lambert, does he like barbecue? He'd be like, no, I can't eat barbecue anymore.
Yeah.
But, so it brought him to think out of the box and really cook things in a different way, because a guy that's had that much barbecue in his life, he doesn't want barbecue anymore.
That's fair.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I can tell you that I live in the Memphis area, but Memphis barbecue is not my favorite barbecue anymore. I mean, just because I've I've been to different places. I like Texas. There's things of Texas I like. There's things of Carolina barbecue I like. There's, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
so my taste can change. You can't be,
Yeah.
hey, I'm in the mood for this or I'm in the mood for that.
Yeah.
I,
Well, and yeah, it's there's so many. I mean, like um, I don't know if you're familiar with Ed Riley or not, but
yeah,
he's a local Georgia guy, and well, he's a Georgia guy now. We've adopted him. We're not letting him
yeah.
go. But he is
He's got the largest barbecue
wow.
grill collection I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's 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 bordering on agreeing with his wife.
Yeah,
That's that bad.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But he is, I had him on a couple of, it's probably been 8, 9, maybe been a year ago now. But, he knows so much barbecue history
That's right.
and the different styles and how they came about. And you've got the Georgia style barbecue, which was because basically folks from South Carolina were coming into Georgia and this, that, and the third. And I had no, like, Georgia style barbecue is just not something that's in the conversation.
That's right.
Um, you know, but
Didn't know they even had a style.
yeah, maybe it should be.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, uh, the different styles of barbecue. I'm the same way. Sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I just want a rib that was cooked with salt, pepper, garlic, and I'm gonna cover it with Sweet Baby Ray's thinned out with some, with some
yeah,
vinegar,
that's
and
right.
just for no reason.
Yeah.
So different flavors of barbecue all over the place.
Well, try the
Um,
country brown gravy because I'm gonna tell you it's good.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds good. I actually, I've been toying with the idea. I did last year in October of last year. I did candy corn ribs,
Yeah.
and I shot a short video on it. And this year, my plan at some point this evening or this, my plan sometime this fall or winter is I'm going to do sausage ribs. So essentially, sausage flavored ribs, and
Okay.
cover them with gravy and put them on a biscuit. Pull the bone out. Purposefully overcook it to where I can yank the bone out of it and go at it that way.
Yeah, like a breakfast McRib.
Yeah, yeah, essentially. Yeah, that's a pretty good description. Instead of barbecue sauce, it will be gravy,
Oh yeah.
um, just Southern sawmill gravy,
Yeah.
and I'm going to go at it. That's the plan for this winter.
I'm gonna tell you like things like Mark will tell you too, his fried rib came
Hmm.
came across from opportunity. He was Memphis and
Yeah,
May, just they were frying up wings. He had just trimmed up some ribs for that they were going to cook for the masses, and he just had all these ends of these ribs, and he had this flour, and so he decided to toss those ribs in the flour and throw them in the grill. I mean, throw them in the fryer, and uh, and then he tossed them in wing sauce,
yeah,
and it's phenomenal. I mean,
yeah,
it's like a fried grandmama's fried pork chop,
yeah. I was
but
going to
you
say
threw some buffalo sauce on top of
yeah, it's kind of like the best part of a pork chop is where you're gnawing on the bone anyway,
it.
right?
Exactly, exactly. So, good food comes by opportunity, and sometimes a mistake turns into the best thing you ever ate.
Yeah, the best thing I ever had. Um, it's so funny. Different folks that I talk to, and so much of sometimes what folks end up doing is it's been by accident.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I've got a guy that does I think it's a blueberry wing sauce, and it was yeah. He's like, I just had a bunch of blueberries, and decided I was going to make a sauce out of it, and we ended up going barbecue style with it, and he ended up on bottling it and selling it for a short period of time. So it's an opportunity, and it's opportunities that change our lives.
Hmm. Yeah, I have a friend of mine. His name, I cooked with him yesterday, Daniel Haley, and the ancillary in the SEA was wings, and he has a peanut butter wing sauce that is phenomenal, and it won yesterday. So
Yeah,
it's pretty much going to be in the top 5 every time he uses it, and it's a
so
great
jumps
wing.
out.
And I mean, it's one of those things you probably wouldn't think about doing it, but he makes a Thai like
Hmm.
peanut butter sauce and on those
Hmm.
chicken wings. It's phenomenal, dude.
Yeah, we had a local spot that had they did peanut butter and jelly wings,
Oh,
and
that'd be good too.
it was Thai peanut sauce, and then they put like a habanero jelly mixed into it,
Yeah.
and they were phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yeah. That turns on
Super
my fat
sad.
boy senses right there.
Yeah, I was super sad to see them go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll kind of table it for now. I typically, my first episode, especially when I've not necessarily met the person before, I kind of like just to find out who they are and see if we click. And next time we come on, we'll highlight whatever we want to highlight and just go off on a tangent if we need to go off on a tangent.
All right.
Uh, Anything else in Ashley's world that we need to highlight, and then we'll hit all of your socials and any kind of promos that you want to do, and we'll cut it up.
Okay. Um, I mean, nothing really. I'm just going to keep on. Got a few more SCA contests to do this year and just chasing that golden ticket so I can get back to Fort Worth. Love Fort Worth and the opportunity to see SCA family from all over the country and all over the world. I mean, there's
Hmm.
600 steak cookers expected for SCA World Championship 10. It's going
Hmm.
to be the world's largest steak cook, as always, in Fort Worth, Texas, and I can't wait to get back there. And and so we're just going to keep on with the Faith and Fires. Faith and Fires will be in the American Royal at the end of the month. Mark will be out there with that, and just keep on doing what God blessed us to do, and have fun and cook a steak in a parking lot or cook barbecue in a barbecue in a muddy field or whatever.
Yeah,
Let's light some fires and have fun and fellowship with each other.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Catch Old School with Mark and Ashley on Thursdays at 9, right?
that's right. Thursdays at 7 Central.
Thursdays at 7. Thursdays at 7.
7 Central. Thursdays, right live from Byhalia, Mississippi, at the Sweet Swan of Mine warehouse. We are right there.
So catch Old School with Mark and Ashley Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central.
That's right.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much for hanging
Hey, man.
out.
Thank you, brother.
Good to finally speak to you more than just a comment on a Facebook post here or there.
That's
Um,
right.
I would love to do it again. Maybe live in person next time. Who
Yeah.
knows? This has been kind of an evolution for me. I started out doing just audio only, and now I have video, and you guys get to see my mug.
Yeah.
And who knows? I might be able to figure out a way to vacation in the area and link up.
Well, come
I
on,
did that.
and I'll let you know when we have that Cajun class. You can come on up and you
There
can
you go.
show us some stuff.
There you go. Well, I'll show you how to put some down.
That's right. Well, you can come eat with us anyway and learn how to cook from some of the best. We'll have all those guys there again, and
Yeah,
they just won a world championship in jambalaya not too long ago. So, I
yeah,
mean, in this past year, Damon Blue and Todd Bro, they're some of the best people. So we'll do
yeah.
it again.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. Well, I've enjoyed it, and we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, I hope I didn't bore you too bad, and we'll see you down the road, brother.
All right, buddy. Enjoyed it.
Enjoyed it. Thank you.
All